The Khufu 1 vessel, century 2566 BC, is the most famous and probably the most published of all Egyptian vessels. Before its discovery in 1954, little was known of Egyptian boat building, and much was learned during the 20 years of its conservation, restoration, and reconstruction. Since then, however, our understanding of all types of vessels built with some form of literature has grown considerably. And in the light of these new data, a reevaluation of the Khufu 1 vessel both reveals some construction details and raises before for those with little knowledge of this vessel. It consists of 38 tons of what is identified as limited cedar. The flat bottom consists of 8 planks, and the sides are made up of 2 nearly symmetrical sets of planking. 11 planks and 2 sealers, 2 port and 11 planks and 1 sealer to starboard. This is a tendency in some publications to orient unlabeled planking diagrams differently, making it difficult to differentiate from starboard sides. For this study, the port and starboard sides were determined by looking at one drawing and a number of photographs. Based on them, plank BP1B is on the port side. The cedar planks in this vessel are not only very thick and long, but are carved instead of traditional. A unique feature of the Khufu 1 vessel is the placement of sealers. In most other traditional types of boat or ship construction, sealers are short planks inserted between 2 strikes of planking to control the strike width, and they were usually located at either the bow or stern in the bottom or lower strike sides. The Khufu 1 vessel, sealers do not appear to be associated with controlling planking width as much as for taking full advantage of planking length. The use of planking is probably related to the Egyptian practice of acquiring cedar and other important timbers in the form of logs. Before ancient Egypt had a greater appetite for long lengths of timber than supplies of it, the need to reduce timber waste heavily influenced building techniques. Furthermore, considering that the longest planks in the vessel measure 23 meters, which is within the maximum height range for cedar trees, 22 to 23 feet, it appears that Egyptian boat writers added sealers to preserve the length and strength of longer planks instead of cutting down a plank, wasting wood. As a result, the number and the placement of sealers in the vessel lack regularity seen in most other wooden hulls. So how was most of Egypt's ancient vessels found? The majority of the ships were found during survey to categorize topographic report basins. This involved systematic probing of the upper basin layers of sand with thin metal rods by teams of divers. Where evident obstructions were encountered, the sand was cleared, which often revealed stone blocks, anchors, and occasionally traces of wooden structures. The survey took in discrete areas, each with their own baseline that was geopartially located. Each find was recorded in the site database, along with their spatial location relative to the location baseline, which allowed their plotting using the mapping and software SOFR. The survey areas were chosen to assist in the reconstruction of the topography of the port, with anchors obviously becoming fouled and lost in the waterways, whereas limestone blocks were used on the surrounding land to construct temples and other monumental structures. Together, these two contrasting types of artifact roughly enable the differentiation of the areas of the land from their surrounding waterways and targeting of more detailed excavations to precisely locate the shorelines. The number of anchors discovered in the northern areas of the site is a testimony to the intensity of the survey in this part of the city, as well as the functions of the anchorages during the particular periods of the port's history. Ships were also discovered through this process, which were often covered by mounds of limestone ballast and, as a resolutely riverine and nautical objects. They too were subsequently systematically searched for due to the information that they could provide for a topographic of the port and as well about the vessels themselves. Did the ancients have a standard unit to measure a ship's carrying capacity? And if so, what was the unit? As far as I know, the question has always been put in this way, probably unconsciously. And it certainly has always been answered thus: that there was a standard unit, namely a unit of weight, the talent, which was identical with the amphora, the one being the water weight, the other the content of the cubic foot. The same relationship, therefore, has that of 1,000 kilograms. If this were true, it would be best remarkable for more than one reason. In the first place, this straightforward answer presupposes that in ancient times there existed a uniformity in ships' registry, which is quite unknown elsewhere, and which certainly would be in strange contradiction with the universal and the natural. Lack of such uniformity in other departments of ancient measuring and weighting. The second place, it implies that the ancient traders, quite differently from moderns, prefer a rather small unit of weight to the bigger units of capacity which they had as well. But as we shall see, it is very doubtful whether such a simple answer to our question is at all possible.